What's up YouTube, welcome back to Opimation, and for those of you who are new to the channel, my name's Opi. I'm an animator in the video games industry, and in this video we're going to be talking about poses, where to get inspiration for poses. A lot of the times I get my inspiration through books, references on Google, images, and also comic books. Comic books are great. I'll do another video on that, but comic books have some amazing poses in it. But there's one other hobby that I've been doing that has inspired me a lot. And if you may have noticed behind me there's a cabinet of miniatures, and I paint miniatures in my spare time when I can. And I'll just give you an example here. This is one miniature that I painted, and if it just focuses, there you go. So these are like miniatures that I paint as a hobby, and as you can see the poses are very good. Like I use this a lot for poses for combat, idle poses, action poses, which you'll see. So what I've done, I've taken about 5 of my favorite poses that I've done through painting my miniatures, and I've broken it down, and we can really examine the pose, the line of action, the negative, positive space, and how I use these as an inspiration to build on any characters that I'm animating. So without further ado, let's jump into the iPad and I'll mirror the screen and you can see everything that I'll be explaining. Alright, so if we look at this now, we have a character here which is the Orc Queen. So as we can see here, I'll just start going through the poses, but if you look here, as we can see, it's a really nice, let's get this sorted out. There you go. It's a really nice like line of action coming here, right? And like this. And then you've got a nice negative space. So if we look here, if we look at the character's whole, you've got your negative space here, and you've got all this positive space outside that is working with, even with the hair there, over here as well, positive. And you've got an overall like nice kind of line going like this, as you can see from the abs. It's going up like that, right? So you've got a nice line of action going through. And if we look at the 3/4 view here, you've got a lovely line going through the arm, and then you've got your nice, even though it's a warrior, you've got this nice kind of knee coming in, feminine kind of warrior stroke line. Nice little weight here on the sword, you can see that leaning on the shoulder. And then again here, if you look here, little positive, negative shapes here, these ones, and a very little gap there, which makes all the difference, so you can see the silhouette really clearly, and that makes all the difference, right? Those little bits. And of course at the bottom here, negative shapes. So overall, a very strong pose, very clear pose. So this would be good like for an idol, because it's more like a little idol pose, but although the weapon is out, it's not in a ready position, right? So it's more like in a relaxed position, she's looking around. So that would be a nice idol pose, I would take that for. Now if we move on to the other one, let's go to this one. This is more, this character is from in Games Workshop, no, Infinity Ward, sorry, Infinity Games, and they have was it Corvus, one of those, the company, but they have, oops, what happened there? Oops, something happened there. There you go. So they have great miniatures too. But if we look at this, this is just a clear open pose, right? So we have a nice kind of, so we look at the front pose here, the sword is out there, you can see it. So you have a nice flow on the arms, and then you have nice negative space here. You've got a nice line going through here, you know, the head's up here. So you've got a nice flow going, and it's really open. This is another character here, and you can see the arms coming out here with the negative space in between. So it's really clear. So there's a little mini robot at the front there. And if you look at the back, you can see the arms of the mini robot there. And again, you've got a nice flow going through the body there. And here as well, coming up. Oh, that was a bit thick. So like, it's just very well posed, and you can tell that these miniature designers have been very conscious of the way they're posing, because they're also like photographers. They look for clear silhouettes. Is the pose appealing? what is the character thinking when we're posing it. So all these things are all interlinked and related to animation as well, because it's the same thing we think when we animate. We're trying to think, all right, what is the character thinking? Why are we moving it? Are we moving it for no reason? There should always be a reason behind why we're moving it, right? Why it's thinking a certain way. So this is how I see these poses, you know, like you can see there's a story in these poses. This guy is getting ready, this robot's ready, it's looking, it's alert, it's waiting for its next enemy. So again, it's a beautifully posed miniature. I really enjoyed painting this as well. It was lovely to paint. But we'll move on to the next one. Again, we got here, this is like from Space Hulk, a Terminator. But again, here we have a back, this is like a step. Oop, this is like a step. He's on a step coming down, so he's already in an animated position. And he has his staff here. Now you could use this as a idle by bringing the staff down. So you could have the staff maybe down here. So he's more or less just resting on it. You know, he's just not. Oops, sorry. I'll just make this a bit more. That's better. So it's just resting on it. So his staff could be like that, and that could be an idle pose. Again, great use of positive space here. The overall pose is very clear. You've got your line of action here, you've got the back, and then you've got a nice arm coming out here. So everything's out, it's ready, it's clear, you know. Again, simple pose but very clear. That's what I love about this. Now if we move on to another model here, this is a Genestealer from the Space Hulk game as well. Now there is if we look at the first pose here, there's a nice flow going through the body like this, right? Again, sorry about this, I keep doing this. I need to select the layer. There's a nice pose going through like that, right? So that's the main pose in the spine, and coming out through the claw and the arm. And then you've got another arm here with the flow, and then the legs. But with the legs, if you look, it comes down, and then it's also coming out with the claw here. Nice flow here with the backhand's holding, and then you've got another here with the claws. So it's a continuation. Even though you got the spine, you can see how the arm is continuing through that as well. You're getting the nice arc which is coming through the whole pose here as well. And obviously as the back is coming like that, you can see, look at the tongue. It's even, the sculptors even take it into account how the tongue comes through, which I think is so important. Like even when it comes to hands, like when you're doing the arm, you're trying to get the flow coming all the way through the fingers, really conscious of like the poses you're doing with the little fingers as well. Here as well, if you look at the fingers here, there's like, you got the main one, then you got the other one in between there, which I think is great. And then if we look at get rid of that line. If we look here, again, a really clear pose there, right? Coming up, going down. And then the foot here as well, but with the foot you can see the claws coming out there. So again, it looks complicated, but when you break it down, it's really simple the way they've done that. And then if we move on to the next one, let's move on to this pose. So this is the miniature I was showing you at the beginning of the video. Now this is one that you could have as maybe, you could have it as an idle, you could have it as a combat pose as well. You could have it a bit more ready, a bit more down in a combat pose. But again, we're going through the same stuff. When we look at the overall character, again, look at those negative spaces, which makes all the difference. Little one there, that separates the cloth from the leg, the muscles. And of course, you've got the base and the negative space right there. Again, beautiful use of the positive. You've got this weapon here, but you're using, it's so clear you're using the positive space. You're making these rigid geometric shapes. So you know there's a weapon there. Again, there's a rigid shape here with the armor. And then overall, if I just undo this, overall, if you look at, so if we look at this head, it's like this, right? So it's going like, if I can get this pen to work, let me just try and change this pen. we got the head coming like this, and then it's going like this, yeah? So it could even be the spine is going like this way. You can see it's going up like that, but then the head is coming like that. And then you can see the flow of the legs coming out. So the overall shape you're getting here is a triangle shape, right? So when you look at the overall shape of the character, so that's the main kind of focal, the triangle shape. Again, here as well, if you look at the spine shape at the back, it's going like that, right? So you could follow that line down like that. You could follow it like that. So that's the main kind of line going that way, flowing that way. Again, triangle shape, clear silhouette, silhouettes here. And if we look at the 3/4 view, very clear as well. Negative space there, obviously there as well. Lovely positive space use there. And then here as well, the line is coming, is kind of going like that, right? So it's kind of, this pen works properly, there. It's kind of going like that. So it's going flowing, and then you've got the cloth, so it's flowing, and then there's the cloth as well. So you're taking into account all the other clothing, and you're trying to make that like part of the pose as well. So great pose there that you can use for idol, combat idol, what have you. And let's check out this other one here. So this is like an animated kind of leaping pose happening. So if you look at the flow of this, so if you look at the middle view, it's going like that, and even the tail is following that flow. And then you've got a flow which is coming in the arms like this, and then you've got the legs. So you've got that leaping forward there, the energy is going forward. Here as well, the front view, you've got like a general rounded, and then the abs here. You can see they're turning and they're twisting like that. And then you've got the classic C shape, which is for the weight. So if we look here, classic here. So you've got that shape because the weight is that way on the character, right? And then you've got this flow coming through here and following all the way through the fingertips. See, it's those little details as animators that you want to pay the most attention to, right? They say if you give attention to the detail, and then that excellence will follow, which is, I think, is for everything you do, right? So just follow these little details. When you're really sculpting your poses through blocking, it will really help. But this pose is really good. It's really dynamic, you know, it's really out there. Again, if we look here, negative space here, we've got a negative space here. And if you look right here, there's a negative space there, yeah? And that's the toe, the gaps. And if we look at the right here, you can see a bit of a negative space there, which makes all the difference, right? To separate. So that is just a general. So what I'm trying to do in this video, just generally show you that there's other, I know there's a reference on books and Google, what have you, comic books, which I will be doing as well. But I just thought this is another thing that I haven't really heard or seen people get inspired by. I mean, I'm sure people do, but I thought I'd do a video about this because this has kind of given me ideas a lot about when I would get a character to animate. I would always kind of look for inspiration, but then I thought, okay, I have a hobby as well. And the poses, I just constantly thought the poses are really good. So I could use those. And it's a good starting point. You start off using these poses as these characters, and then you build on it. And obviously you make it into your own style. But these have helped me a lot during when I had to think about different poses for idols and combat idols. So I hope you found this video of some value. I do have a YouTube channel where I teach how to paint these miniatures, but I haven't been posting on it regularly for a few months now because I'm dedicating a lot of my time to just on Opimation on this channel. I really want to focus on this channel and really show things that inspire me as an animator, workflows that have helped me as an animator. So I'm dedicating my time to this, and also having a daughter, newborn daughter, well, 10 months now. I have to juggle my time a bit more efficiently, so I can only afford to work on one channel. But if you want to check that channel out, I'll leave a link in the description. It's Opimation, it's Opi Painting. You can check that out below. And yeah, if you like that kind of stuff, if you would like to subscribe to that and learn how to paint, because I use painting and I use an airbrush. So I use airbrush to get the mid-tones and highlights, and then I use paint brushes to get into the details and paint. So I teach all of that on my channel there. I will be adding more videos here and there. I'm in the middle of working at one at the moment, which I will try and put on. But what I found is, in the video game industry, this is very common, where people are into like World of Warcraft, miniatures, board game, Warhammer Quest, Warhammer Fantasy. You know, people play these games, and it's very interlinked to video games as well. So that's really good how it bounces off each other, and it's nice to be able to do a hobby where it's kind of interlinked into video games, which is really good at all that fantasy world and sci-fi world. So because as you can see in this analysis we did with poses, there were sci-fi models and there was fantasy models, right? So it's nice to see that those two industries or those two hobbies kind of merge together and inspire each other. So yeah, if you found something useful or some value in this video, please like, please subscribe. It's a young channel, but let's try and get to 1,000, that first milestone. You know, your support has been brilliant. Every week I'm noticing I'm getting 2 or 3, 4 subscribers. And that's really encouraging me to share with you guys as well. I mean, I will always keep pushing out videos that I like to push out of value, and I hope it will help you along the way. So in the meantime, happy animating, enjoy animating, and most importantly, have fun animating, and I'll see you in the next video.